Let's turn our attention to the Six Nations, which kicks off this weekend. Ciara Griffin, former Ireland captain, is with us to help us preview it. Ciara, good morning to you. How are you?
Morning. How are you keeping?
How is your FOMO heading into this weekend? Are you happy as Larry not to be involved? Or are you thinking, I could still be there?
No, I'm happy with my decision now. I'm content enough, Ger, so I'm happy out watching in from the outside. I'm looking forward to cheering on the girls in the weekend.
It's been a really long time since we've seen this team play any rugby. It was the tour to Japan when obviously things went really, really well for them, and it felt like they were building up a sense of identity and confidence and the magic word momentum. But that's kind of disappeared. We don't really know what to expect from them ahead of this tournament.
Yeah, you're right. I suppose the Japan tour in September seems like a lifetime ago. I suppose since then, they've had the end of the AIL tournament. Then they went into the Interpros and following into Celtic Cup Challenge. And I think they've said a lot that they got a lot of game time in that Celtic Cup Challenge, and while the English players were playing over in the Premiership, and that's the only game time they've really had. They've had no real warm-up games in the run into this. It's just been camps. So I think the Saturday will be we'll see where they are. We'll see where they set their bar, and they'll have to go from there.
How difficult is it for them to turn it on, like at international level? We keep hearing about the step up from club to international level, and you have experience of it. But when the gap has been so long, does it make it more pronounced?
It does, because it's like international level. Nothing will prepare you for it. Only test matches. You can replicate as much as you want in training and under those scenarios, but it's not until you're in test rugby that you get that experience and build up that experience bank. So I think, look, it's a young squad. They've made that clear that they win for a young squad in terms of to develop and grow. But I do think, look, it will take a bit of time to find their feet, but hopefully they hit the ground running on Saturday.
It's funny, Ciara, the target for this Six Nations this year becomes quite obvious for the Irish team. Like, I guess it's closing the gap on England and France, but getting that top three finish because of this new women's 15 tournament in the autumn where the top three from the Six Nations automatically qualify, it makes the top three all the more important.
It does completely, and that will be their target. Look, last year they finished fourth, so they will be looking to improve on that. And you said top three for WXV competition. That's the aim. You want to play top tier rugby. That's where you develop. That's where you grow the game. And that will be their target. They have two tough home matches in England and France, so they will be targeting their away games, and that's where the target will be. And if they secure those three away games, they hopefully should secure that top three finish.
How big is that gap between England and France and the rest? Like, is it huge? Is it reducing year on year, or where's it at the moment in your view?
Look, it is a big gap. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is, even like the time when I was playing, it was a massive gap. You tried your best. You did as much as you could to try and close it. But they've been professional since the end of 2014 into 2017. So that is standing to them. They've those years built up. Those years of experience as players playing together, and that good infrastructure there. They've a really good feeder system into their programs. Their club structure is solid, leads into their international setup, and there's a clear pathway. And look, just something we need to develop here in Ireland as well, that we get that pathway. We get that clear pathway from grassroots to green shirts, that there's a clear system and a clear progression, and that we are fighting at the top then when that is developed.
There's a debate raging within Irish rugby about whether or not we've made enough progress fast enough. And obviously the Sevens players won't be playing in the tournament this year, and in some ways that's good and bad, so that there's like at least a twin track approach to this, but there's clarity about what everybody's responsibility is going to be. And at the same time, some of our best 15s players are obviously playing sevens, so there's a bit of a split personality about where we are. So what's your view now at this remove about the speed at which the progress is happening?
Yeah, look, I think we all want everything to happen straight away. But unfortunately, look, the progress wasn't made when it should have been. So now we're kind of playing a bit of catch up, So we are, that review, they've put in the structures, they're putting in clear structures now for developing international players to high quality, high standards. There's contracts. So it's not going to happen overnight. I think that's really important that people realise that, look, it's great that contracts have come in, but contracts have only been in since November. So you are playing a bit of catch up there. So I think it's important that players are given the opportunity to, I suppose, find their feet, find their style of play, but also, they need to put in performances too, and I suppose put their best foot forward. In terms of sevens and 15s, I think it's one way is that it's good that they set out from the start that sevens aren't eligible for selection for the Six Nations campaign. It gives players who are in camp, there's 32 players in camp, gives them an opportunity, to get, as well as a bit of game time, bit of structure, and I suppose their hand up for selection and get a bit of confidence in their own performance as well. And it kind of, I suppose, keeps that cohesion in the group. So I think, it's a double-edged sword. It's good in some ways that it's a cohesive group, but then obviously you want your best players playing. But I suppose Sevens they've made it clear that Sevens priority is qualification for the Olympics, and you have to back that and you have to support that. So I think once Irish rugby keeps growing, we'll be happy with that.
Do you look at the squad, like when you see 8 uncapped players in the squad, for example, Ciara, like do you see that as a glass half full thing? This is a positive thing, blooding new players. It's a good opportunity, especially with the Sevens players absent, to kind of bring new players in? Or are you looking at it going, well, this is the Six Nations, we need to finish top 3, and a bit of experience would do no harm?
Yeah, you're right. It is a glass half full. It's great that they have identified 8 new players to hopefully be up to the international standards. But as you said, you want experience going into a Six Nations campaign. Six Nations campaign can be brutal. It's really attritional. It's weeks on the trot, constantly training, constantly trying to up your game, and you want to be able to play under fatigue. And then often there comes a bit of mental fatigue as well, where your body might be fine, but mentally you could be a bit tired from all the go, and that's where experience kicks in. And I just hope that they will use the experienced players, and younger players will go to those experienced players, ask for advice, ask for feedback, because that's how you grow. That's how you grow the game. It's peer learning, it's peer support. You're not on your own. It's a squad effort. I think it's very important that younger players coming into the group, that they realise that you're there for a reason. Back yourself, but don't be afraid to ask for support from a senior player as well, because they've been there before, they've done it. They might have a bit of advice or a few tips for certain scenarios, and that's how you get your game awareness and I suppose your game cuteness.
The game against Wales is actually an unbelievably important game. Like if you were starting first up against England or against France, that the job is to try not to get completely destroyed. But the game against Wales it's kind of a must win if you are putting your stall out to finish third.
Yeah, completely it is. And look, it's a rematch of the first round of last year. And unfortunately they're away this year, so you lose that home advantage. But I think, if you look at what they're saying in media, that they're happy with the preparation, they're happy with the group, and that they feel confident going into it. So hopefully now we do see that result and they get that away win. And it's nice to get your first away win. The first round of the Six Nations, it kind of gets that momentum, and it's all about building momentum as well, and you kind of get that confidence. So I think it's very important that you do set out to win and secure those points for the first round.
Emma Swords is an interesting one, Ciara. Fascinating that initially capped by England, declared for Wales, and now she's in the squad to play against Wales for Ireland this weekend. So already she's had a bit of a yo-yo when it comes to her international allegiances. But could she go straight into the team? I know she's uncapped, but she's involved in that Harlequin setup, and she's got a little bit of experience as well. So do you put her straight in? And maybe she's got a point to prove against Wales as well, I suppose.
I think, as everyone, you have to earn your stripes. You have to earn your selection. So I suppose she'd be the same as every other player up there. They are fighting for their position. They're fighting for that jersey. So I think it's all based on. I think no one owns a jersey. It's based on performance. So as a person's performing in camp, they put their hand up for selection, and so it kind of has to go from there.
Alicia Hughes, I guess, is the tried and trusted.
Yeah, exactly. She has the experience. She's good game time experience, has a lot of Six Nations experience under her belt as well. Is used to playing Wales and control a game. So I think you might go for experience, your first round. You want to make it nice and controlled, that you control the tempo and you can dictate what happens. So it might go for an experienced 9 for that.
Greg McWilliams was commenting a number of different times during the Six Nations last year about how it was performances over results quite often. Are we still at that stage, do you feel, Ciara, where you'll take a performance this weekend as opposed to a result? Or are we now at the stage where we kind of have to be winning games in the Six Nations, I guess, to push on? Yeah,
look, I suppose the thing there is, if you get a good performance, you'll get the result too. So you can use it as a double whammy. But I think at this stage, with that new WXP competition, you have to get the results. You need to get 3 solid results in this to secure that. And I suppose, look, with that, you have to push performance too. So hopefully you'll get the double result from that. But obviously you want to see good improvement week on week. Also to justify your improvements, you need those results.
Sorry, Ciara, what's your prediction for the weekend then?
I hope to see Ireland win the weekend. I think it'll be a tight game. I that's my prediction, but that they'll hopefully get the points through. I'm aiming for an Irish win.
All right, Ciara, enjoy it. Thanks a million for joining us. Cheers.
Cheers, thank you.
It's Ciara Griffin, former Ireland captain, giving us a preview of the Ireland-Wales game this weekend at the start of the Six Nations. Right.